Hi, everyone. Welcome to Enjoy English School. I'm Steven.
I'm Minnie.
And today we're going to be on the date of July 27th. Please refer to the pages 54 to 57. And the next 2 days, we're going to be talking about the origins with the title The Myth of Talos and the Origin of AI.
那我们今天7月27号呢，会在大概第54页到57页的部分，我们追根究底这个主题，今天要讲的是人工智慧的原型塔罗斯。
From the ancient Greeks to modern times, AI has always been on our minds.
从古希腊到现在，人工智慧總是縈繞人心。
Wow, so that's something that's very surprising to me because I thought AI was something that was more modern. Didn't know it went back all the way to ancient Greek times.
Yeah, I think so too. 所以啊，我们一直以为 AI 就是我们所谓的人工智慧是现在才有东西，但其实从以前希腊的时代就有咯。
Well, let's find out more about it.
Okay.
You might think that the concept of robots and artificial intelligence, or AI, are modern ideas.
那你可能会以为说机器人跟人工智慧的这个概念是现代才有的构想。
So anytime that we say artificial, it means that it's made by humans and it's not natural. Another time we might see this is when we're talking about food. Sometimes food has a natural taste, right?
Yes.
But sometimes it might be enhanced or changed by humans. So in that situation, we'll call it artificial flavoring.
Okay, so 在这边呢，老师刚刚有特别讲到一个 artificial 这个字其实就是人工的，所以我们说 AI 它其实就是 artificial intelligence 的缩写。那 artificial 这个字呢，它人工的，我们还可以说一些食品人工加工啊、人工色素啊，这些我们也可以用 artificial 来做一个形容词。
Right, and here, because artificial intelligence, the short way to say that is AI, right? So when I was reading that, I said, and artificial intelligence, or AI, are modern ideas. So I made sure to pause there, and I also had to change in my intonation to let the listener know that this is just another name for the same thing.
所以老师刚刚说念文章的时候，因为我们要把一个全写跟一个缩写放在一起的时候，通常我们缩写前面就会给他一个喘息的时间，让别人知道说，我刚刚讲很长的那个东西 artificial intelligence 跟后面很短的 AI 它其实是同一件事情。
After all, such creations require a high level of technology and advanced scientific theories that have only come about recently.
哇，所以他说，毕竟创造这种东西需要高科技，以及到近期才发展出的先进科学理论，对吧
？Right. And then after all, in the front of the sentence is just to show that you're giving more information. You're adding information to what you said in the previous sentence. So it's a very good transition to use, okay, if you're adding more information. And these creations, such creations, the such here is being used as these types of creations, okay? So this is just a shorter way to say these types of creations. We require or need a high level of technology and advanced scientific theories. So what are our advanced scientific theories? They're theories that are they've been developed for a long time, okay? So it's not beginner level, it's very advanced. So the opposite of advanced is beginner.
OK, 所以在这边我们可以看到 after all 开头的句子，它其实中文我们讲就是毕竟，它是一个在写文章或说话的时候很好转成下一句连接上一句的一个转成词。再来的话 such creation 这边的 such 就是 these types of 其实就是这一类的创造的东西，所以这一类的我们这边就直接用 such 来代替。再来 advanced 这个字其实就是我们比较高端比较进阶的，我们就可以用 advanced 这个字，所以刚刚老师有特别讲说它的反义字我们就可以用 beginner。
And then come about, that means only been created, okay? They've only, so these scientific theories that have only been created recently. So come about is just another way to say that.
所以 come about 这两个字变成了一个片语，很厉害哦。它可以代表中文近期才发展出这么多字哎。
That's true. It's just always good to learn different ways to say the same thing, right? Actually, the idea of robots may be much, much older than we think.
而且事实上，机器人的构想也许比我们所想象的还要更古老。
Right. So here there are two muches. That's kind of strange for a lot of people, right?
Yeah.
But it's just emphasizing that it is very, much, much older. If there was just one much, it would be okay. Even if there was no much, that would be fine too. But adding two muches is just emphasizing that this idea of robots is a lot older than we think. So when we're reading that, we would say, actually, the idea of robots may be much, much older. So the second much usually will emphasize it either by going up, making it longer, making it lower. The first time I read it, I made it lower. The second time I made it higher, but both times I emphasized it, and that's what you need to pay attention to.
OK, 所以在这边用两个 much， 第二个 much 的语调，你可以稍微往上扬或往下降一点点都可以，因为它当作是一个强调非常古老的意思。
All right, let's take a short break.
OK。
The ancient Greeks were a people with many myths, legends, and gods.
古希腊人呢是一个有许多神话传说的一个民族。
So ancient Greeks is just to say they're Greeks from a long, long, long time ago, okay? And actually Greek history is something that we studied in America when we were in middle school and high school. So we're very, I wouldn't say very familiar with these stories, these myths and these legends, but we have heard them before. So it is very interesting to teach them, but it is a very complicated subject.
Yes, it is. Yeah, 所以老师他以前在美国念书的时候，就是常常有读到古希腊的一些故事，但是他也不能说很熟悉啦，但是就是非常有趣。
Right.
Yeah.
And here it says the ancient Greeks were a people. So usually we're not used to having a in front of people, right? But here the people means that they're members of a particular nation and or culture. Okay, so the ancient Greeks were they were like a nation of people. Okay, but a people can be used in this way when we mean members of a particular nation or culture. And then I want to kind of mention what the difference between a myth and a legend is, because even as a native English speaker, I wasn't very sure because I always use these two interchangeably.
Yeah.
Okay, a myth is actually stories that are more symbolic and based on gods and supernatural humans. It's not usually based on facts.
Okay.
And on the other side, legends are usually based on historical facts and usually are focused on a human.
Okay, very good. Good information. So here, 这边呢，我们句子也可以看到 people 前面有个 a， 通常我们不会这样做。但当这边看到你说 a people 的时候，其实我们指的就是一个特殊的文化或者是国家，甚至是 maybe 种族的人们，我们就会说 a people。它其实就是中间它省略了像是 nation 或 culture 这些字。再来后面老师刚刚有说啊 myth 跟 legend 这两个字其实都是所谓的传说，那这两个字他自己常常在讲的时候也都会拿来做一个替换，但是其实这边 myth 它指的比较是 symbolic， 比较是有特殊含义，故事不是真的，有可能是就是杜撰的，或者是它有含义在里面，甚至是一些神话的故事。但如果是 legend 通常就是它有历史性的，而且他们都是专门是讲一些人的，所以一个可能是有确切实物，但另外一个可能是比较像是杜撰成分比较多。
Exactly.
Okay.
One of those myths is of Talos, a giant bronze man who was made by Hephaestus, the god of invention and blacksmithing.
这些神话的其中一个是塔罗斯的故事，它是一个由发明与工匠之神这个赫菲斯托斯所创造出来的巨型同人。Wow, difficult names.
Yes, they're difficult names. And actually, as an American speaker, I would have said Talos.
Talos?
But because it's Greek, it's Talos.
Talos.
And Hephaestus, that is a difficult name to say. Okay,
Yeah,
so that is hard for everybody, not just people who are learning English. So invention is when you're creating things.And blacksmithing is when you're taking iron or steel and you're creating something new by using tools. So that's what blacksmithing is.
所以 invention 就是创造的意思，那 blacksmithing 就是我们所谓的工匠。那在英文里面有很多 smith， 例如像
locksmith。locksmith，
对，所以就是锁匠的意思。那这边 blacksmith 是我们所谓的工匠。
Talos' main job was to defend Hephaestus' island, throwing huge rocks at anyone who tried to invade.
那塔罗斯主责他捍卫这个赫菲斯托斯的岛屿他会对于任何试图入侵的人呢，就是丢这个巨大的石头。
Right, so see here, because Talos and Hephaestus, both of these names end with an S. So when you're saying a possessive of Talos, his main job, because there's already an S at the end, we just have to make an extra S sound to get that PS that they're saying. So Talos's main job was to defend Hephaestus's island. And defend, it means to protect.
Yes.
And island, remember, the S is not pronounced, okay? So it's not island. Then when we look at the adjective huge, huge is just another way to say very, very, very big.
Yes.
Okay? And a lot of times we'll actually emphasize huge by making it longer, like throwing huge rocks at anyone who tried to invade. And invade, this verb, it means to try to conquer and take control of something, invade.
OK， 所以在这边老师有讲说这个Talos 真的很难念Talos 这个字，因为它的这个神的名字后面都有 S， 所以我们外面加了一撇的之后的发音要特别注意，是就是有点像 ES 的发音。再来 defend 其实就是我们所谓 protect 的意思，保护捍卫。 huge 其实就是另外一个 very very big 它的另外一个用法。然後 invade 呢就是入侵这个字 invade。
All right, let's take a short break.
OK。
It was also said that Zeus, king of the gods, personally requested that Hephaestus build Talos.
那也据说万神之王宙斯曾经亲自要求这个赫菲斯托斯打造塔罗斯这个角色。
Right. So in Chinese, you just said in the very beginning, 也据说,
Yeah.
right? So in English, we would say it was also said. So it is the situation. Said is said by people in legends and stories, okay? So it's just something that people have heard from generations. They said that Zeus, the king of the gods, he personally asked that Hephaestus make Talos or build Talos.
OK，
Okay.
所以在这边 it was also say 就是我们中文常常讲的据说。Can I also use it according to?
According to legends, Zeus, king of the gods. Yes, you could also say that as well.
OK。
Okay. Europa was the mother of King Minos of Crete, and Zeus was worried that someone would try to kidnap her for her beauty.
所以这个欧罗巴维克里特之王米诺斯之母然后呢就是这个宙斯他就担心说有人会因为她的美貌然后試圖綁架她。
Right. So here it says that Europa was the mother of King Minos of Crete. So
Yes.
of Crete, that means that they're from that place. So then we would know that the name of the word after of is a location. It's a name of a place. Okay, so King Minos is from Crete, and his mother is Europa, and Zeus is worried that somebody is going to try to kidnap her. Why? For her beauty, because she is beautiful. Okay, so for her beauty, 为了这件事情. So kidnap, this verb, it means to take someone and then hold them against their will or hold them unwillingly. Okay? And another word that we could use here is abduct. A-B-D-U-C-T. And that also means to take somebody when they don't want to be taken.
所以在这边老师有讲这个 Crete 这个地方它就是一个地名，在 of 的这个后面，然后 kidnap 这个字我们中文很简单，其实就是绑架的意思。老师刚刚说 unwillingly 不愿意地被留在那里，然后被当作有点像一个人质去跟对方去做一个勒索。
Yes, a 勒索。So unwillingly, unwilling 我们先拼是 U-N-W-I-L-L-I-N-G. And if you make it an adverb, you just add L-Y. Unwillingly. Okay. Yeah, and don't ever take anybody if they don't want to be taken. Don't ever take somebody who is unwilling to do, or make somebody do something that they're unwilling to do. Okay?
Yes.
This was understandable since Zeus himself had formerly done just that.
这是可以理解的，因为宙斯他自己先前就做过同样的事情。
Right. So here this sentence seems a little bit difficult for people who are learning English. So let's explain each part one by one. So this was understandable. This is talking about the situation of kidnapping or the situation of Zeus being worried. Okay, since we're already, since we just finished the previous sentence, it should be easy to understand what they mean by this. Okay, so this was understandable. Why? Because Zeus himself. So since here is just another word for because. Okay, because Zeus himself, 连他自己本人, okay, Zeus himself had formerly, which also means had previously or had done in the past. Okay, so previously is the same way, it's the same meaning as formerly, just before. Okay, so previously is P-R-E-V-I-O-U-S, and if you that's the adjective, and if you add L-Y, it makes it the adverb. Okay, so he had done just that. So what do they mean by just that? It means that he had done the same exact thing. Okay, so I could say since Zeus himself had formerly done the same exact thing. But just that is just another way to emphasize that he did the same thing.
OK, 所以这个句子有点长，有点难。老师刚刚有说 this was understandable， 这个 this 它其实就是指我们前面句子所提到做的事情。再来 since because 就是可以用 because 来代替，它其实就是因为的意思。宙斯本身他自己 himself had formerly 又可以用另外一个字 previously， 也就是先前之前曾经做过什么事情 done just that, just exact thing 就是那件事情 which thing?
Right, so well, yeah. And then here himself, you could actually take that out of the sentence, but himself is just being used to emphasize that why is he so worried? Because he did the same thing himself. So it's just another way to make the sentence have more life to it. So if the whole sentence, if I could change it up to make it a little easier for some people, you could just say, this was understandable because Zeus had done the same exact thing before.
Okay.
So you could also say like that to make it more, to make it easier for people to understand. Okay, let's continue. So he and Hephaestus controlled Talos with their godly commands.
Wow. 所以呢，宙斯跟这个赫菲斯托斯就用他们所作为神的这个掌控权控制着塔罗斯。
Right. It sounds like some magical myth, but today there are those who argue that this is where our modern idea of AI originated from.
所以这个听起来可能像是一种某些奇幻的神话哦，但今日有人据理力争说，其实这就是我们现代人工智慧的这个起源。
Right, so there are those who argue. You could just say some people argue, okay? But this is just another way to say that there are those. So these people exist in our society who argue that this situation, this story, this magical myth is where our modern idea or the idea that we have nowadays about AI came from. So that is what originated from means, came from, or had the origins in.
所以在这边呢 those are those who 可以改成，其实它就是讲说这些人的意思。那它是用这种there are 这种 there is there are 句型来当做是一个开头，让你会去更想要后面的句子在讲什么。然后在这边 originated 这个字，我们老师刚刚用一个很简单大家都会是 came from，对不对？从哪里来的？那 originated 这个字有另外一个字叫 original，这个字可能大家会比较熟悉，原味的嘛，买那个波卡的时候都可以看到
original flavor.
Yeah, 所以就是那个起源最原始的。
Right. All right, let's go to the review. All right, Minnie 老师. So what is the concept of robots?
就是代表这个机器人的一个 concept 观念。
And AI is short for?
Artificial intelligence.
In Chinese, that is?
人工智慧.
That's right. And if I say that this idea came about recently, what do I mean by came about?
就代表近期才发展出的。
And if I want to protect something or I want to defend something, what does that mean?
你要捍卫。
Yeah. And maybe the opposite of defending something is attacking something or invading somewhere.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
攻击或侵略的意思。
And never ever kidnap people. That is a bad idea. What does kidnapping mean?
Kidnap 就是绑架别人。
Right. So anybody who has done that formerly or previously is probably in jail.
Yeah, 就之前如果有做过绑架这件事情的人，就会 in jail 在监狱里啦。
All right, and the idea of AI originated from Greek mythology. So what does originated from mean?
起源于。
All right, thank you so much for joining us today. And tomorrow we're going to continue on the subject of AI. So we'll see you all tomorrow.
Okay, see you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.